Assalamu alaikum dear students. My name is Mansoor Khan and today I am going to talk to you about advanced academic reading and writing under the code of English 254, and it's our 10th lecture or 11th lecture. Research writing in academic discipline. So in previous classes we have discussed about different theories and close reading and advanced academic reading and writing. In this very class we will discuss about research writing in academic discipline, research writing and its principles, purposes of research writing in academia while writing activity, analyzing intellectual and discourse communities. So let's start with our first topic, and that is principles of research writing. Research and writing processes follow same principles regardless of the academic discipline. And what are those principles? Those principles are research and writing. These principles are critical reading and writing, active and creative interpretation of research sources and data, and writing rhetorically. So these are some of the principles that can be helpful in research writing while in any writing. First, you have to be critical reader, then write actively and creative interpretation of research sources and data. You have to visit all the possible sources and data. You have to search data to write down something creative. The purpose of academic writing is to generate and communicate new knowledge and new ideas. The purpose of academic writing is what? Is to generate and communicate new knowledge and new ideas. First, you have to read and reread very carefully. Then there will be a box in your mind in which new ideas will come, and you will have new ideas, and then you can share it as your own ideas. Academic writers write from sources. They write it just from sources, from research. As research is a word that with seeing this word we can say that it is research, means you have to research again, search for a thing which is already existing. This means that new ideas, new conclusions and theories are created on the basis of existing ideas and existing research. It means that we have already things in our surroundings, and we are going to re-watch and research those things according to our mind, according to our capabilities and according to our capacity. So whenever we are searching these things, we find new ideas and we find new things which we can share by our own names. Academic writers examine their sources carefully for their credibility and appropriateness for the writer's goal and objectives. Now, what is the function of academic writers? They examine their sources, very carefully, and their credibility and appropriateness for the writer's goal and objective. If they are searching for a data or if they are going to search something, so they will have to look deep into that data, as they are intended to gain data from that specific given data, and to write down it in his own or her own words. Academic writers carefully acknowledge all their research sources using source citation and documentation system accepted in their disciplines. So, whenever we are talking about an academic writer, so he will follow all the norms and traditions which are important for the research in the surrounding. Like if he is doing his research in Pakistan, so he will follow all the rules and norms given by HEC, or we can say that given by the high ups. So he will be a good researcher if he is going to follow all the rules given by the high ups, so he can be a good researcher. So these were the purposes of the research. Our next topic is intellectual and discourse communities. In this very topic, we are going to discuss about the intellectual and discourse communities. How it is not sufficient to acquire practical skills of research and writing. It is not sufficient for a good writer or for a good researcher to just acquire practical skills, but what it is also necessary to understand why you do what you do as you research, and what results you can expect to achieve as a result of your research. If you are going for a research, you must have to know, or you must have to question that why I am going to research on this very specific topic. Okay, for example, if I am interested in Pakhtun society history, so I will research on the ideals of Pakhtun society. So my aim will be clear that I am interested in the history of Pakhtuns. Okay, so like that, you must have to know that why I am going to research specific data or specific topic. Why I am choosing this topic, you must have to know that why I am choosing this very topic. Writing and reading are interactive social process. Now, writing and reading is what? These are the interactive and social processes. If you are not that much social, you cannot be a good writer and you cannot be a good reader. So, for good and effective reading and writing, you must have to be interactive and social. Ideas presented in written texts are born as a result of long and intense dialogue between authors and other interested in the same topic issues. The ideas which we have in a research, that can be the child of the author's views, or that can be the outcome of the author's ideas. If he is interested in one thing and he is going to research on another thing, so he cannot be that effective researcher. If he is interested in an area and he is going to research in that specific area, so he or she can be a good researcher. Okay, our next topic or the same topic is intellectual and discourse communities. Knowledge making process in modern society is a collaborative effort to which many parties contribute. Knowledge making process or the research is the is what is modern society in modern society is a collaborative effort in which many parties will contribute so that it can be a good research. For example, if we are going to research a sting, so the sting must have to be explored by with the help of shopkeepers, with the help of its customers, daily drinkers, and also its company which is making the sting. Okay, so all these parties when contribute in a research, so it becomes an effective research as all the possible data about the sting or about that particular thing becomes to unveiled to the audience or to the readers. Knowledge is not a product of individual thinking, but of collective work, and many people contribute to its creation. Now, what is knowledge? Knowledge is not a product of individual thinking. For example, if someone is in jungle and you visit him or her after years, so he can only told you about the that particular jungle, that what had happened to him or her, and what his experience is in the jungle. But if he is an interactive and socially rich person, so he can tell you about many things like the modern world schoolmaster. If you people remember that the old and new schoolmaster of Charles Lamb, so the new schoolmaster was interested in all the areas, like he was an academy in himself, and he was able to know about different data and different things, like he was interested in languages, and he was interested in science and technology, and he was also interested in modern technology. He had a lot of knowledge about all these things, and he was a talkative and sagacious person. He was argumenting on all these things, like he was a good researcher. So, knowledge is not a product of individual thinking, but it's the repercussion of all the things which a person individually experiences in his daily life. Academic and professional readers and writers function within groups known as discourse communities. The word discourse, what is a discourse? Means the language that a group uses to talk what interests its members. For example, as a student, you belong to the community of your academic discipline. Discourse, if we remember about the register, so it's a sort of register. I think that register is a specific language of the specific community. For example, if we are in a school duty, so we will must use the terms and the language of the school. If we are in a market, so we will definitely use the business terms in our language, and the terms which will not be that formal or that can be formal in a business community. While whenever we are free at home, so we can use all sort of language like formal language, informal language. So these are the specific registers of specific areas, and same is the case with discourse. If you are having if you are going to a specific group and they are using language different than you, so that is their discourse of their own community. Okay. Together with other members of your academic discipline's intellectual community, you read the same literature, discuss and write about the same subjects, and are interested in solving the same problems. The language or discourse used by you and your fellow intellectuals in professional conversations, both oral and written, is discipline specific. Your conversation and your fellow intellectuals' conversation will be discipline specific. Like they will use the uh, language which they were allowed to use. This explains, among other things, why the texts are you read and write in different academic disciplines are often radically different from one another, and even why they are often evaluated differently. So, this was our lecture in which we discussed about different things about the research writing. In the start of this lecture, we discuss about how to write down a good research and how can we be a good researchers. After that, we discussed about intellectual and discourse communities. We discussed about the discourse that why we are going to note that some people are having different languages according to their situations and according to their area in which they are living. So that is basically because of their discourse. We also discussed in this very lecture purposes of research writing, that why someone is going to write down research or do their research upon different topics. We also discussed research writing and its principles, while we discussed that why a person is going to research and why they need to join a group where they can evaluate different things according to their interests and according to their wells. So basically, if we are saying that a person is a good researcher, so he must well be a person who will act according to his own mind. Like if someone is interested in different languages and he is researching over that languages like dialects, different accents of the same language, so he can be a good researcher of the language. And if a person is interested in science, astronomy, and he is doing his research over science or astronomy, so he can be a good researcher in that particular field. But if there is a lack of interest of a person in an area, and he is doing his research over there, he cannot be that effective researcher. And definitely he will do his research, but it can't be stated that he has done a very good job. Thank you so much for listening. Hope we will come soon with a new video lecture. Till that time, Allah Hafiz.